All right. Hello, everyone. My name is Sam Perlox Carlson. I am the founder and owner of the Spawn Room, spawnroom.com, which is an esports website. And this is an esports video blog kind of a thing. I wanted to do this because I'm doing the esports bulletin along with the website, and I get to talk about, I get to bring up topics, but I don't really talk about them. I just kind of recap them for the day. And I thought I'd do some sort of like blog thing where I could basically share my thoughts about different things that are going on within the scene, and I don't know, just have some fun talking about some random stuff. Yeah, so if you don't know what the Spawn Room is, it is a website. It's kind of just this evolving project that I'm working on where basically I'm just kind of coming up with stuff and being like, oh, that'd be cool, I'll try this out, and it's just kind of taking shape as I go, which is kind of fun to. I really enjoy programming, so it's kind of fun doing that. I also do that Esports Bulletin, which is a daily recap of news, with the goal of basically offering this show where people can, if you missed a day or something of esports, you can go back to whatever day you missed, and you can quickly, within a few minutes, get all the news that went on that day. And that too, that's kind of an evolving thing. So yeah, so I thought I'd just kind of add to this and make a little video blog that just talks about random stuff. Yeah, so yeah, I'm gonna, let's see. Okay, so I guess I'll just jump right into some stuff that I wanted to talk about. Since this is kind of a general episode, I'm not focusing on anything really specific. I thought I'd just share my thoughts about some random things that have happened over the last month that I wanted to talk about. The first one is with Kickstarter projects. A couple weeks ago, or maybe it was a few weeks now, we had EP1, who is like a esports news reporter, kind of independent journalist kind of guy. He launched a Kickstarter for a news project that he wanted to do that kind of came under some fire from people because he ended up indirectly attacking a bunch of other news sites by saying that no one produced unbiased news, and yeah, there was a lot of kind of flack he got for that. And then after that, maybe like a week or two later, Cybersport Network launched a Kickstarter for getting some of their volunteers and Maximus Black to QuakeCon. Chobopians has failed, which I guess isn't too surprising considering how much negative attention he got for it. But it did manage to raise like about a third of the money. I think it was over $2,000, which is pretty good. I mean, yeah. I didn't see it succeeding just because of that fact. I think he didn't clearly state exactly what he was going to do or what topics he was going to cover, and I feel like most people already get enough news that they didn't really see the point. Plus, he didn't really explain how he was going to get. Okay, so he wanted to do independent journalism and get, figure out the secrets of esports and stuff and report on them. But then the problem with that, the first problem that came to my mind was, okay, if he's going to kind of be digging deep and figuring out all these secret things, who's going to tell him this? Because if people are going to know that he's going to be looking for, drama or things that people don't want to spill to the public, no one's going to tell him shit, right? I mean, if he came up to you and was like, hey, what's been going on with this thing, wouldn't you just be like, I'm not going to tell you that, because you're just going to tell everyone else, and you're going to be digging around, and you're going to, anything I tell you now is going to be kind of in danger of you digging it up. So I didn't really see how he was going to get around that. Cybersports Network, like I said, was successful. Their campaign is good. They got more than what they needed. I think that was successful because, first of all, their organization, I think, is pretty well respected. They do a lot of good work. So I think people were more receptive towards them. And they also had Maximus Black, which is a popular kind of like internet celebrity StarCraft 2 personality. So I'm sure he had a lot of fans that wanted to help them out. And then they did, within the news they didn't mention, I mean, there's been other Kickstarter projects for esports. I think there's been some for the documentaries that are going on or coming out. There's also been one for the League of Legends caster Studio, who was at the latest MLG championship, the spring one. His was successful, and you know, I think his was successful because people like him. He's just he seems really down to earth. He didn't have this big mission he was on. He just, you know, he wanted to continue what he was doing, and he loved what he was doing. And I think people recognized that, so they were pretty comfortable helping him out. And I think that's really the way you need to approach this, because, I mean, initially when I found out about Kickstarter, I was like, oh, that'd be cool. I should maybe try that for what I'm doing. And then I did a little bit of research, and I realized, oh, yeah, you need a lot of support. I mean, people don't just throw money around, and they're not interested. Just because, you know, I want to do something in esports, and I think the idea is cool, that doesn't mean shit for anyone. And I mean, really, I think the way you need to approach Kickstarter is you need to ask yourself, am I already successful? Then maybe your campaign will be successful. If it's not really for people who are trying to kickstart some small project, because nobody cares. You need to already have a name for yourself. Your project already needs to be like successful. You know, it can be small, but it needs to be successful already. And that's kind of what I figured out. So if you're thinking about Kickstarter, I mean, really, have a lot of followers. You know, have a lot of people that are already interested in what you're doing. I also wanted to bring up that I thought a lot of the so I don't want to discourage anyone when I say that, though, because I felt a lot of the feedback that Chobopian and even Cybersports Network got was kind of overly negative. Now, I understand from the other news organizations' side, they were indirectly attacked, so their responses I felt were probably appropriate. But there were other, people that weren't necessarily involved that were just really hating on the fact that they were launching these campaigns, and I thought, does it really matter? I mean, you should have the freedom to launch a Kickstarter campaign if you want, and ultimately people are going to vote with their wallets anyway, so it doesn't, that you saying like, oh, you're a terrible person for launching this campaign is kind of irrelevant, because it's either going to succeed or it's not going to come down to your opinion on the matter. So I can see one problem with that, though, is that if we have tons of these campaigns popping up all over the place and people are actually donating to them and they're succeeding, we might run into the problem where when there's a serious Kickstarter project, one that will not only help the person attain their dream of completing the project, but also help esports a lot, we may run into the problem where people are less inclined to donate because they've been donating to all these other projects. They feel like, well, I've already helped out enough people, I'm not going to help this one. Little do we know that if this project would complete, it would like help esports take steps forward, like big steps forward, and so we should probably be mindful of that. But again, I feel like it was a little overly negative. I suppose that's not too surprising considering how negative the community can be at times, but I guess just something to keep in mind. And lastly, for mentioning this, I think as opposed to crowdfunding, like crowdfunding is cool and all, but I feel like it's a little bit like hyped. Like everybody wants crowdfunding. I mean, how awesome would that be if people, I launch this campaign and people are just throwing money at me and I can just buy cool stuff, to help with buying cameras and buying more websites or whatever. But what is that? That doesn't really teach you anything. I mean, you could get this money, but who cares, right? I mean, when I came into this esports project, I thought I had a lot of knowledge. And in the last like 6 or 7 months, I've realized how little I actually know, one, about esports, and two, about business. Like, I literally don't know anything about what's going on. Like, this project that I'm doing, like, I had all these ideas and these things that I thought were going to work, and then I'm like, none of this is relevant. I mean, basically I don't even know. Like, it's so much more complicated than I thought. So instead of Kickstarter, I think what the community should do or what would be really cool. And they've done this to some degree with shows like The Executives, and VVV's gaming show, The Losers Bracket, has mentioned really relevant information. Is we need an educational platform for teaching people like myself and whoever else wants to get involved in esports. Like, help us out. Like, what do we need to do? What would help us take the next steps and understand, like, what are people interested in? And you know, I mean, I guess, you know, learning by your mistakes is a great way to learn, but you know, it would be nice to have some help, some sort of mentor, or, you know, somewhere you could have some sort of repository for this knowledge. That would be awesome. But yeah, I'll wrap up that. I don't want to talk too long, but it was probably already long enough. Next up, I wanted to talk about the FPS scene. There's been a lot of articles over the last forever, really, I guess. Especially, it seems like the last year, I guess, about the FPS scene and how it's kind of dying out, and how there's communities that are just kind of disappearing. You know, we can, I guess, notably Call of Duty, there was some concern there, although they seem like they're doing a lot better now. I think Gears of War has really faded out of existence. Halo's kind of taken a big dip. Maybe Halo 4 will help revitalize that. Quake's kind of been dead for a while, but I mean, it seemed like it came back for a little bit, and then it died off again. And then, of course, Counter-Strike 1.6 is like the latest one that's been just getting knocked down. Hopefully Global Offensive will be really cool. And I'll talk on that in a second. But and even like TF2, I feel like TF2 hasn't necessarily died or is dying, but it's plateaued so much. So I guess yeah, I just wanted to talk about that for a second, because there's a lot of news in regards to this about how the problem is that it's a spectating issue. Like, FPS isn't popular because people can't watch it right. But I feel like that's not the issue. I feel like that was the easy thing to target. It was like the thing that was sitting there, and everyone's like, oh, it's definitely spectating. Let's blame that. That is why FPS is struggling. And personally, I don't think that's the case at all. I mean, the spectating interfaces do kind of suck. I think there's definitely improvements that could be made, but the whole idea that it's this chair's squeaking like crazy. I think the idea that we're missing information, like the spectating for FPS sucks because we can't see all the gunfights and stuff. We miss stuff in League of Legends and StarCraft 2, right? I mean, how many matches have you watched of like League where the casters are focused on like bot lane, but meanwhile there's some gank in top lane, or something, someone's getting dragon and they're missing it or whatever. Stuff is missed in all of esports. Traditional esports, we got like one field and people are all on it, so you can kind of monitor the whole thing. Whereas with esports, we have these huge maps. So anyway, with FPS, I don't think it's a spectating issue. I think it's a developer issue. I think the problem is that these games are not complicated enough. We have a game where there's 4 or 5 players. They go in, and really, when you boil it down, they're just shooting each other. I mean, there is complex strategy. There's places on the map that are better to be positioned. Like other games like StarCraft and League of Legends, but that's kind of where it ends. We don't have resources. We don't necessarily have all these exciting multi-pronged attacks. I mean, with StarCraft 2, you can have armies split, attacking an expansion, and you got drops in the main, and all this, and then a battle at the middle or whatever. There's so much more going on in these games. I think that's the problem, and for some reason that's not addressed. And I don't know if it's because maybe people don't want to address it, because what do you do about that? That's not something that the scene can fix. But I think we need to say something about it, because developers need to come in and spice it up, give us an objective, because I always thought the most exciting first-person shooter to watch was Halo, because I felt like not only was it balanced in terms of, okay, with Modern Warfare 3, when I watched that, there are two big problems, I feel. One, people die like instantly. There's not like a firefight that happens. It's like whoever saw the other guy first generally seems to die. And the other problem is that it always feels so futile. You know, if one team's got to go get a flag, it's so incredibly difficult for them to even get to the flag. And then if they do get it, it's like the chance that they get it back to wherever they need to bring it seems just insurmountable. And it's frustrating. It just feels futile. Whereas with Halo, I always felt that you could get shots off on people, and that wasn't a guarantee of a kill. And I like that because it adds excitement. Oh, that he's taking hits, but he manages to duck around, and is someone gonna jump out on him and get him, or is he gonna have a chance to get his shields back? And then he can still get shots off, and then even if he dies, the opponent was low too, so someone else can come in. And then it was surrounded by these objectives, King of the Hill and stuff. And I don't know, I just felt like there was a really good balance there. And I kind of miss watching Halo. I haven't watched it in a long time. But even Halo, I don't feel is complicated enough. It's still just some guys shooting at each other with this one objective. And it would be awesome if we could get some sort of fusion going where we have a first-person shooter that one game I thought might be cool was that Super Monday Night Combat or something along those lines, where it's a first-person shooter, but there's multiple objectives, maybe there's lanes, there's creep or whatever. Like, make League of Legends, but first-person shooter. Maybe something like that would work. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I feel like that's a much bigger issue than the spectating problem. Because people make custom spectator interfaces, like for TF2 I know, and they're better, but it doesn't like change the game. That yeah, you can see everyone's health or what gun they have out or something, and that's helpful. But one last point I'd like to make too is with Counter-Strike. Counter-Strike's really fun to watch, and there's a lot of, I feel like of all the FPSs out there, it's probably maybe the most strategic, but I feel like a lot of the excitement for that game is killed by not having respawns. I mean, I can see a counter-argument to that being that actually adds more excitement because there's so much pressure on the people that are alive to continue living. But I feel like a lot of times the rounds, it's like, oh, it's so exciting, they're shooting at each other, there's people dying, and there's, people are changing positions, trying to flank and stuff, but then the last person dies and the round's just over. The excitement ends. Boom, right there. Whereas with, something like Halo, say, people are dying, but the excitement just keeps going. And it seemed like there were so many rounds where it was like, they're trying to get to 50 kills or whatever, and it was like 47, 47, 48, 49, oh, the other team's got 48, 49, and it just comes down to this one last kill or something like that. That doesn't seem to happen in Counter-Strike. Yeah, you get down to 1v1s or something, but then the guy's just dead and the round's over. So I think respawns is I think that could add a lot, and I think if there's gonna be one big popular FPS in the future, I feel like it's got to have respawns. But just personal opinion anyway. Okay, before I move on, the very last thing I wanted to mention was with Global Offensive. Hopefully that game's gonna be awesome. Also, actually I don't even know if I should say this. I feel like well, people from 1.6 and Source, mostly 1.6 though, they're so negative. Oh my god. I don't know if they just feel like so entitled, like they've been professionals for so long that only their opinions matter. They like just know everything. They're like the gods of FPS or something. Just give it a shot. Jesus. So many comments, just one after the other, about how Global Offensive is going to be total shit. It's going to be horrible. Don't even bother, I don't even know. I don't really have a point for that. Just please be less negative. Jesus. Okay. Last main topic I wanted to just talk about in this little vlog thing or whatever is DayZ. Now, this is not esports related, but I just wanted to bring it up. Please, for the love of God, do not just kill people on sight. We've had so many epic games in that where we were like super far up north and we got zombies all over and we're sneaking around in the night, and these epics feels like storylines, and we'd get into a city and boom, storyline's over. It just felt so premature, like, what the hell? The instant someone sees you, they want to kill you. And you have all this gear, and I think what people don't realize, or they just don't care, is that there could be such epic moments in that game if people didn't kill on sight. Because we could have like movie style drama going on in this game if people didn't shoot, right? Because you could take hostages. There could be like, you know, someone who, instead of shooting me, sneak up on me and then use the in-game mic and be like, dude, don't move or I'm going to kill you right now. I'm not actually going to move. You know why? Because I don't want to die. I don't want to lose all my gear. Don't kill me, for Christ's sake. It could be so epic, right? I mean, you could hold me at gunpoint and be like, all right, give me all, what do you got? We could, you know, you could steal my stuff. I would much rather you just take everything I have and let me go than just kill me. Because if you're going to kill me, you're going to loot me anyway. So, yeah, there could be epic standoffs and stuff. But I feel like it's never going to happen because people's first instinct is, I got to be a dick and kill you. So, yeah, just consider it. I was thinking maybe it would be cool for the community around DayZ to develop like a keyword or something. Like if you see someone else, yell in your mic like, I don't know, some random like code word, and if they respond with the correct code word, that means don't shoot, but let's develop some epic storyline. I have no idea if that would actually work, but it seems like it could be really fun otherwise. Okay, lastly, before I close this out, I just wanted to give some shout-outs or some, like, share some of my favorite things about esports. And I wanted to start with Topone Gaming. Those guys are awesome. They're based, it's a Midwest, like, college club that hosts events, and I just wanted to give them a shout-out because I haven't in a while. First of all, the people who run that are really awesome. They're really nice. They've been just so friendly and open, and they, in their last event, they gave me, you know, a table that I could set up a booth and show off my website and stuff, and you know, that really meant a lot to me. So yeah, go check out Topone Gaming. It's TEHPWN gaming.com. So go check them out. If you're in the Midwest area, check out one of their events because they're really well run and they're pretty big, and I've had a lot of fun at them. I also want to say, in terms of news coverage, ESFI World and Kadred are awesome. Those are like by far my two favorite websites to visit for esports news, and I just wanted to share that because, you know, I feel like a lot of times people might really appreciate something, but they never get a chance to really share it. So screw it, I'm going to share it here. You guys doing a good job. I also want to give a shout out to Boss Fight TV and The Reload, notably Josh Antipro Ingle and Mohawk Mike Bisson. I think that's, yeah, that's right. First of all, those two guys, their Reload show is really enjoyable. I haven't been able to keep up with it as much recently because I've been busy, but I've seen quite a few episodes and I really like it. Their website's cool. They do good coverage. They've made some really badass YouTube videos, like the one for Dive Kick. That was so epic. Oh my god. I watched that and I was like, holy shit, these guys are like pros. But yeah, good job, guys. You've also been really friendly. Like, I've tweeted at you a few times, and you're one of like the few esports people that actually tweet back to, you know, some unknown person like me. A lot of like esports people that I've tweeted at in the past never respond, and you know, that's fine. They probably get lots of tweets. I don't actually like hold it against them personally. I'm just, when people do respond now, I really take it to heart, I guess. I also want to give a shout out to XTV or X Television and their show Extravision. I really like TF2. I play it a lot, logged a number of hours, hundreds of hours, and I really enjoy their show. And Xtine, who does all the work there, he does a really good job. So check out Extravision on YouTube, or go to extelevision.com. Yeah. Who else? In terms of shows, I mean, you don't really need to give shout-outs necessarily to State of the Game and the One More Game TV guys who do, you know, Live on 3, DJ Wheat and all that. I mean, those shows are awesome, but they already get so much. I mean, everybody already knows about them. Cross Counter Live, if you want to get into fighting games, or just know more about the scene, Cross Counter Live is an awesome show. It's really funny, and they do a really, really good job. The Executives, that's a cool show. I feel bad because I've missed a lot of episodes. I haven't been able to keep up with it. But from what I've seen, that's a really cool show and a really, really good idea. And yeah, Complexity is a cool organization. Losers Bracket, I used to watch that a lot. I haven't watched it as much recently. I'm not sure why. Just haven't had time, I guess. And yeah, that's it for now. I'll do maybe more shout-outs in the future. Yeah, I feel like I want to give shout-outs to a lot of smaller organizations, because I feel like there are a lot of unsung heroes in esports. Like, there are a lot of organizations that are like doing amazing work that I run across. I find their website, I'm like, this is a sweet website, or they're publishing like really good blogs, like GG Chronicle, for instance. Maybe they're bigger now, I don't know, but they've published some really sweet blogs and like blog posts, and they have their shows, and I feel like maybe they don't get it as much appreciation as they should, or maybe there's just too much content, people can't focus on everything. But yeah, so that wraps up this first ever esports vlog. I have no idea how long they're going to run in the future. I might just focus on like one issue at a time. This one ran probably pretty long, so thanks for watching, and if you have a chance, check out spawnroom.com or check out the Esports Bulletin show that's on the same channel, and subscribe if you can. That'd be awesome. So, and follow us on Twitter, twitter.com/spawnroom. Same with Facebook and whatever. So, yeah, thanks for watching.